when I came into the industry, I first got my real estate license back in 2019. I had no network. I didn't know anybody in real estate. My family had no background in real estate. I was just taking a shot in the dark. And then I was able to, essentially partner up with you guys. And then without paying anything extra for only $85 a month, which is very cheap, especially compared to a lot of the other brokerages I was just doing comparisons with when I was first looking for a place to go. Now I get to be partnered with like some of the world's leaders in real estate and investing, in team building, somebody like yourself who, we're spending personal time now kind of building, you're helping me build my business because it also impacts you and it also helps you as well. So this is something that has been huge for me with when I started with very little money to spend on expenses, but I got so much value from you guys.
That's right.
Just because if I succeed, you do as well.
Well, that's a good point to bring up because like on the other podcast, if you guys go watch, when I tell my story, how I went 100 grand in debt, one of the biggest reasons I did, if you look into my other story from my old channels or like, getting out there is I put up 35 grand to this ripoff consulting company that screwed me over big time. And I really don't want to name the name because I don't want to get freaking sued because they're probably
we don't have to name anything. Yeah.
I'm not going to name them, but it would shock you who's out there and how big the scam artists are. So be very careful with your education, guys. So that is really what put me behind the 8 ball because I trusted that this company was going to do what they said, and they really let me down. In fact, I was, almost wanted to. I should have sued them for the amount of fraudulent things that they promised and did not do. Right, and that's very common out there. So later, what happened was I was so frustrated with that high-end consulting. I just thought they dropped the ball, and I figured out how to build businesses, and I thought I could teach anybody how to do it. But what I didn't realize is you can't teach personal responsibility and people to care about their business. So I created a consulting company teaching people how to become an investor, right? And some people came through it and became very, very successful. And then other people went through it and did nothing with it, right? And so what I realized was I don't want to make money from just a few people if I can't help all people. Now, what I did, so I shut that business down, even though it was a good business. Emotionally, I didn't like the way I felt because I couldn't get enough people to take it serious. Like some were becoming millionaires and then everybody else wanted to sleep all day and smoke pot, just to be honest. Like that's the truth. Like people didn't want to work. And so I said, okay, well, let me shut that down. I still have like that coaching and training system, right? For the most part. And what I teach a lot of to our agents here is what people used to pay me like $10,000 for a short high-end consulting company. So this is like a part of what I train people in our morning calls. So think of the relationship on the value that you're getting. You pay $85 a month for a brokerage, but you're getting the education system that most people would have to pay to traditionally like tens of thousands of dollars for. And that was just like one part of what I coach, not all the different things that we go over. So I think people should be joining, organizations like ours just for overall entrepreneurship purposes. Like to go back in my mind, I thought about this the other day. Like it makes sense to go get a real estate license just to join our organization, just for the education, because you can go pay 25 to 50 grand from some company that's never going to do anything for you, that doesn't have a track record of results. When we have our results all over the internet, our scoreboard's public, we're breaking records left and right, and our agents are breaking records left and right. And you can spend tens of hours and $1,000 or so to get a real estate license and come get a world-class education in business. And that's really what I hope people understand more, is that we built something that's not just like, we're not just at EXP brokerage. We built an overall massive system to help people get into business and succeed in business. And that just the education side of it alone is worth that. And you don't have to go into debt like I did and take that risk. And you're going to have partners, like Kobe said, that when you have agents come into your organization, we train them and work with you and your partners as if they are ours, because they are now, because we're all sharing in the same income stream. When agents sell houses, we all earn revenue share, right? So that's the brilliance of the model, is the synergistic, synergistic nature on how we operate together, which is the mentality behind our organization, which is the wolf pack, right? Wolves run together as families in a pack. They don't do everything as a lone wolf like a normal agent at a normal brokerage does. We run together, win together. That's the mentality behind our organization, right? But it is important to understand that we do these types of trainings and education, and these are not just like random trainings that are, like the courses that we give out are not created overnight just to sell on the internet one time to make quick money. These are courses created and training systems created for results in business, because we're working in business together to do business long term, not just to get a quick sell on the internet and move on, right? So it's a big difference. You're going to get education taught for performance results, not for that person to sell a course and move on, which is what's happening on the internet, unfortunately, too much these days, and it's become a problem.
Right. I mean, it has. And, I'm glad that I have, as much education as I do, just for, as a part of the being with you guys essentially. So, I mean, that has saved me a lot of money and a lot of just testing and trial and error, right? Like I can just go out there, spend $5,000 on a course. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I don't know until I've done so. So this has been really helpful for me. And then the same thing, like you said, with partners that we bring on to the team, to the company here, we're not just trying to trick somebody so they can join us and pay us once. I mean, for the past couple of months after, meeting some of them in person, being at these, we also have live events as well. So being at these live events with them, really, I see them being not just my partners in business for a really long time, but also like really great friends that I can, you guys are like some like people, like people like you and the agents that are on my team you guys are like my personal friends now. Like you guys are like, yeah, right. Yeah. So like, I mean, I never really would have thought that. I made a social media post a while ago. I was saying that, I never thought, before I got into the industry, I got into real estate, that work and your personal life can be synergistic in a way that it has been for me so far. So this has been, really life-changing for me.
Yeah, like let me give you guys like a comparison here, like that could help. Like, so like I came up in the investment world first, and that's where like I built my original first wealth, right? So it's from the investment side. And all the time people would reach up to me, and I get all these people from my YouTube channel. Like it literally felt horrible. Like people would contact me and be like, look, man, I will literally come live in your closet. I had people say this stuff like, I will sleep in your closet. I will literally sleep in your backyard if I can just be around you and follow you to your properties and all that stuff. And what I have to try to explain to people is like, I'm kind of doing my own business on my own. Like I have my team, but like I don't really need other people. Like I don't need, to add agents on team like we do now, right? I don't need to. And if I want to, if somebody wants education, I can run a consulting company or sell that information. Like I don't need to do that, right? So there's never really a need for someone like like if you looked at me as an avatar that's cloned, that's doing what I was doing, just someone that's like a successful investor or someone that runs their individual business. To them, they're like already overwhelmed with the time that they're putting in, because you guys run businesses, right? And they also know the risk of consulting somebody one-on-one as a mentorship, the likelihood that that person lets them down and stops and gives up on themselves, right? No matter how much you do for that person, there's just going to be that element. So it's like, you're going to have a very tough time. I know you hear people saying like, find a mentor, right? You're not going to find a mentor like you're thinking that's going to pour into you like that. And so I never was able to help people like one-on-one and help them training them all the time. Now, when I got my license to build EXP, that's a completely different story. Now people can come in and I can train them all the time because we're leveraging each other. We're leveraging each other's time and resources, and it makes sense now. So what I couldn't do before and never made sense for me to do, now I can help as many people as I want, and all they have to do is be a part of our organization. And so I'm able to teach them all these things because they're not competing against me, they're competing with me. Whereas if I was to just help some random investor in my local market, teaching them certain strategy that I was doing, they're now marketing to my list. They're now marketing to my neighborhoods. They're now, not only did I help them, they hurt me, right? So it's like the opposite. Now it's where when I help people, I help them and they help me instead of, right? So it's a weird thing that like I couldn't help people before the way I wanted to. And now because of this, all you have is a real estate license, and you're going to get a full entrepreneurship coaching, because we're not just training on sales business, guys. We're talking about everything it takes to build a business: self-development, mindset, communication, time management, prospecting, recruiting, scaling, leadership, everything in between, right? And so it can apply to you in all industries. But it is a cool thing that, whether you join with us or other, there's some really great people at our company here, and you have the opportunity, to work with them. Now, obviously what we do, I think is, come on, right? Just kidding. But you have to be honest about what you're proud about what you do, right? But there's a lot of great people in the company, guys, a lot of impressive people. And that's the benefit a company like this gives you, is you can partner with cool people that have value that you wouldn't have been able to get otherwise without paying for and gambling to know what you're getting. And you can come in and you can see all the testimonials. We've got hundreds of testimonials out there all over the place now. And some of our agents are breaking state records on things like that. So it is a good opportunity for agents that are struggling right now, or people that are wanting to get into business, to find a different kind of like group or energy or association where they can find a new home, where they can feel these people are serious, they want to win, they're good people, and they're moving in the same momentum that I want to go into. Because a lot of people I feel are stuck right now, and they're floating, drifting through life, and they're lost, and they don't know really what they want to do, or they're at a current brokerage or with partners that they don't think as big as they do, or they don't, they don't want to move at that rate, or they don't have the goals. And when they come over at our Wolfpack and we're like, you better have a goal to make 7 figures a year, or you should probably be setting a goal, right? You know, like they move into a different high performance world, and the environment around them and other people trying and making efforts ramps their efforts up because they see other people doing it. It drives the mass energy of everything going forward. But those are all great reasons, you know, for education purposes, just to partner with us alone, in my opinion, if that makes sense, guys.